Hi, and welcome to the second in my series of classic blues guitar lessons. I call these song breakdowns. And what I'm doing is taking some classic songs from the 1950s and 60s and breaking down the song by figuring out the guitar parts. When I do these, I don't claim to know everything about every song. It's just me trying to figure it out. If you notice anything that I've done wrong or that you know exactly how it's done, let me know, because I would like to share that and I would like to know. This month's song for February 2015, I'm going to show you a tune by Junior Parker, Little Junior Parker, and the song is called Bad Women, Bad Whiskey. And I'm pretty sure the guitar on the song is played by Pat Hare. And if I'm wrong again, correct me. And the guitar is just awesome on this song. And there's an introduction. There's some really cool things he does with ninth chords, backing up Junior Parker and his singing. And then there's a really neat solo where he plays a very unique solo using the first position, out of really the first position E chord. And so in this lesson I'm going to tackle all three of those parts, and as much as possible I'll try to show you note for note what I figured out. In a few places I'll show you what I think's going on and give you some possibilities. Let's start out with the introduction to Bad Women, Bad Whiskey. The song is in the key of E. I'll play the intro for you and then we'll tear it apart. That is one of my favorite introductions of any blues song I've ever listened to and ever learned. It's really neat. It took me a while to figure out exactly what he's doing, but I think I've got this part pretty much down. Now the song is in the key of E, and he starts out with this, sounds to me like a B ninth chord played up here. There's a B ninth, and there's a B ninth down here at the second fret. He's moving, so if you take that chord position, I'm going to slide it all the way up to the 14th fret. I've got my second finger on the 14th fret of the 5th string. That's my B. My first finger is on the 13th fret of the 4th string. And then my ring finger is going to flatten out and get the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings of at the 14th fret. So I've got this chord. The guitar is heavily distorted, and in a couple places I'm not positive what chord I'm hearing, but I'm pretty sure that's a second position ninth chord shape. And he's playing at the full chord, and then he's going to get just the 4th and the 5th strings and do the slide up the neck or down the neck, so like this. And he comes to the E ninth, and the E ninth is the exact same shape. Just move my second finger down to the 7th fret, which is an E. And so he's doing the chord twice, and then the bass notes, sliding to the E ninth, and then he hits it one more time and slides it right before he changes chords. So the whole thing is like this. And that little chop there is essential to getting it to sound the way it should. Then he goes to an E ninth first position, and he's moving back to the first position E ninth at the 11th and 12th frets. My first finger is on the 11th fret of the 5th string. My second finger is on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. My ring finger is on the 12th fret of the 4th string, and my pinky is on the 12th fret of the 2nd string. So that chord is the same as that, but if you listen carefully, I'm pretty sure he's playing it right here. And the reason being, he's going to use the slide. So he does this, plays this twice, and then he's going to do that slide again, and it sounds to me like he's getting the 4th and 5th strings from this position. And this time he's going to slide to a D ninth, which is the, D ninth, which is kind of weird. But anyway, that's what he's got. And this is the same position with my second finger at the 5th fret. So the whole thing so far. And then he's going to hit two bass notes. This is an E at the 7th fret of the 5th string. He's either doing that or he's getting the 12th fret of the 6th string. When I listen to it, I'm hearing a less bassy sound, so I think he's at the 7th fret of the 5th string. And then he goes into this double stop slide, which is really unique. And what he's doing, as far as I can tell, is maybe he's using that 9th chord shape, but he's really only using this ring finger on the 1st and 2nd strings. So here it starts at the 12th fret, and then the 10th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret. So that whole part. Then he goes into this C9, where he's going to strum the chord. He's going to get the 13th by taking his pinky and getting the 5th fret of the 1st string, and just strums it back up. So the whole thing is, one more time, and then he winds up on the B9th. So the whole last part goes like this. And then he's going to slide that 9th chord B9 back here to an E9 to start the first verse. Now if you listen to that carefully, again, the guitar is really distorted on the recording, and sometimes it makes it tough to hear exactly what's going on chord-wise, but I think with 99% certainty that is what's happening there. So that's the introduction to Bad Women, Bad Whiskey. Now the next part of the song, we're going to go into the accompanying chords that Pat Hare plays throughout the song. And this is a really good song for learning some variations you can do with your basic 9th chords. So for the most part, throughout the tune, when the song is in E, he's going to be using this E9, which we've already learned. It's a 2nd position E9 with my 2nd finger on the E at the 7th fret of the 5th string. Then the 1st position 9th he's going to use for the 4 or the A. So we learn the E 1st position 9th here. Just move it up here so your 1st finger is on the 4th fret of the 5th string. And he's also going to use the B9th as the 5. So the song is an E, it's a 3-chord song, and those are the 3 chords that you hear. Now throughout the tune he does some different stuff with those chords, and I'm not going to do all the variations, but I'm going to show you the main ones and some examples of what he's doing. A couple places I really can't tell for sure what's happening. The first one that I hear is when he does these slides, like one of the first times he slides, he does something like this in the E9. So the song is on the 1, he does something like this. So what I'm doing here is, here's my E9, and here's an F9, and here's a F sharp 9. So I can walk into my 1 chord like that, but I can also play around there. So what he's doing is starting, I think, on the F9th and sliding into the F sharp 9 like that. And in the tune, in the first verse, he does it twice, like this. And then there's one point where he throws in the 13th. A couple times. So he's taking that E9th, 2nd position E9th shape, and he's picking at the 9th fret with his pinky while keeping the E9th shape. That makes it a 13th, E13. So he does this. And I've got that tabbed out for you. Then he goes to the 4. It sounds like when he's playing the A9, he's kind of not really strumming, but he's picking a little bit. Again, with everything going on the recording, it's hard sometimes to hear exactly what's happening. Then when he goes back to the E, he's doing another variation on the slide with the second position bar chord, where he does this. Something like that. You can do it. Let it hang and then pick, or you can just slide it. I think he's picking it. Then when the song goes to the 5, B ninth, A ninth. Then when he turns around, the first time he does this little, very simple turnaround with the ninth chord. It goes like this. So he's doing basically a chord turnaround, just stepping into each chord in the progression from one step above. So for the E ninth, he comes from the F ninth to the E. Then he goes from a B flat ninth to an A. Then back to an F, E. Then for the 5, he goes from a C ninth to a B ninth. So that whole ninth chord turnaround thing. Like that, which is really, really pretty cool. Some other variations throughout the tune, the 3 verses, I think there's 3 go-arounds to the song. He doesn't mix up the A ninth, B ninth so much, but the E ninth, he's doing a lot of different stuff. In the second part of the song, he does this thing where he just does more slides here, like this. And then when he goes to the 5 or the 4, he does that same kind of bass note slide into the A ninth. So the whole thing would be something like this. Or maybe step into it. I can't remember exactly what he does, but this is basically the approach. This is just showing you all these different little variations you could do with these simple ninth chords and get lots of different sounds. He doesn't do the same thing twice on those slides. He mixes it up, which gives the song a lot of variety. So instead of just playing like some guys do when they're playing blues guitar, he mixes it up. Very, very creative. Okay, another variation. Let's think about it. At one point of the song, he does just some simple slides where he goes. And he throws in the F sharp ninth before he heads into the 4. So he's sliding from the E ninth to the F sharp ninth, then back down to the E ninth, then he hits the F sharp ninth again. So the whole thing. Then on the last verse of the song, he does do some slides with the A ninth. He does something like this. To the E ninth. That's when he throws that in. But then the last part of the song with the chords, he does this walk down where he does the B ninth and then goes into the end tag. He's just going from the B ninth, C ninth, or B flat ninth, A. So throughout the tune, he's doing a lot of different stuff with these ninth chords, which makes for a really interesting backing. Now again, I'll put some of the tabs for the exact slides that he does, as many as I can get on there, and you can go through and listen to the song. I encourage you to listen to the original recording. If you really want to learn this stuff, I'm not the original guy, of course, so it's sometimes I can't quite play it the way it's on the recording, and you don't get the full, don't appreciate it fully. Before we leave the ninth chords, there's one part that I forgot that I'm just going to tag on here. When he comes out of the solo, he does something which I am not sure what's going on here. And I also forgot to mention another slide that he does. He comes out of the solo, in the first verse, he does the slide where he's going from the F ninth to the E, or the F sharp ninth. That sounds like he's throwing in some kind of chord there. I can't hear exactly what it is. I've tried every chord I know, and I don't know every chord, but what I'm thinking is it's like an E6. I don't know what this chord is. You guys who know some music out there. Got my first finger barring the top or the bottom top 3 strings of the 12th fret. I think that's an E6. Then I'm taking my ring finger and getting the 14th fret of the first string. And I get that chord. Whatever it is, that's what I hear. So I hear him doing this. And then go into the A ninth, which is the 4. Not sure what he's doing. So it sounds like something like that. It sounds pretty darn close. Also, there's another little bass slide that he does when he comes from the 5. I think there's one point where he does this. Where he slides out of the first position, 9th chord B, and he's hitting the 4th and 5th strings. And then winding up. You can really do that out of any chord. You could do it from the 4 to the 1. Anywhere you want. But it sounds to me like he's doing from the 5. So that completes the accompaniment section. Again, I'll put these on the tablet here, go through the whole song and put them all there for you.